Hi, I'm Carl Palladino, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to tell you my story straight from my heart. I'm the son of an immigrant. I carry an immigrant's values. I went to St. Bonaventure University. Before that time in high school, I was taught by Franciscans, and I was taught Catholic values and Franciscan values. I went on to Syracuse University College of Law, and then I served in the United States Army for 10 years, both active and reserve. I retired as a captain, and then I entered the general practice of law. In doing that, I recognized that it was a little bit more than just a job. It was an ability to help people. And from my perspective, helping people gave me satisfaction. I've never really had a hobby. I don't golf. I like bringing the smile to kids' faces. I like giving people peace. So as I went on in the practice of law, I came to find that I wasn't as creative as I wanted to be. I wanted to leave a mark. And I really liked real estate development, and I drifted over into the development world. In my career, I've created thousands of jobs. I have a company that I started from scratch and today employs about 450 people, permanent jobs. I know how to create a job. It's not that hard, not when you're focused on it. Getting our taxes down is probably the most important thing that we could do. The state of Texas doesn't have any income taxes, and they raised 500,000 jobs in the last couple of years. Our taxes are the highest in America, by 60% over the national mean. It's not working. Our businesses are afraid. They don't see any signal that things are going to get any better. So they're thinking about taking their jobs elsewhere, or they're not being able to make it. Well, for all stratas of our society, I think that the main thing I could do to help is to create jobs. When I decided to run, it was a mixture of things. I learned last year about the fragility of life. We're only here for a short period of time. I lost my son. And then when this issue came up from friends that I should run for governor, I thought, I had never wanted to run for office. I never had any desire whatsoever. But things had changed in my life. And I was thinking about all those poor people out there that were suffering because of this government that's so far off the page. I knew it was a very mischievous and not too endearing of a effort to do, but I figured I could do it. I could do it because I had my son on my shoulder, and that's what his life was about. It was about helping people. And with him, I could take on any challenge. And nothing could hurt me worse than losing my son. So I took on the challenge. I took it on with some advice from some great friends. They told me, don't go and pay homage to the rulers of the parties. They're not going to do right by you, and they're just going to want to take from your heart and soul. So go and petition, do it the hard way, do it with the people. And I did. I went out and I saw the people from Ripley to Plattsburgh to Montauk down to the far ends of Staten Island. The faces were different, but the look was the same. They're frustrated. You can call it anger if you want, but I call it passion. They're passionate about saving New York State. And they knew that their politicians and elected officials weren't going to do it. They're incapable of it. They're too familiar with feeding at the public trough. So I said, I'll do it. And I went out and I saw the people. I listened to them. I refined my message. And then in the primary, despite the polls, I won by 26 points. I went to our pollster and I said, how does this happen? And he says, Carl, you went to the people. You aroused them. And they came out in droves because your message hit on. It hit them right in the face. And they wanted to participate in this change. They wanted to actively get involved, and that's why they went out and voted. You see, my opponent, he wants to cap the rate of growth of taxes and spending. That doesn't make any sense. That's not sending out a message to our manufacturers and creative industries and our farms. It's not sending out a positive message that things are going to be better here. We have a bureaucracy that has so overregulated in the interests of perpetuating their jobs and expanding this progressive movement. That's not right. That doesn't help jobs. So from my perspective, we're going to lower taxes 10% in the first year. We're going to cut spending 20% in the first year. And we're going to create an atmosphere that is accepting of expanding jobs, accepting of job development. We're sending out the right message. Government corruption is just rampant. My opponent's been the chief prosecutor of a state for 3 years, a state that has the most corrupt government in America, and now he wants to be our governor. I don't understand those things. I don't understand why he doesn't respect honor. Honor. You make a promise, you keep the promise. He said at the debate, anybody that does anything wrong will go to jail. But at the same time, he cut a deal with Hevesy to allow Hevesy to walk. He cut a deal so he could make a political announcement to advance his own political career, so he could say he convicted Hevesy, who he knows won't be sentenced until after Election Day, and he made a deal that the man doesn't have to go to jail. A public official is held to a higher standard, and if we don't put them in jail, we're not sending the right message out for every other public official. And you saw what happened with Aqueduct. Aqueduct. It stunk 6 months ago. And who's involved? Sampson, Smith, our governor's secretary. It's demeaning to the people to have government officials rigging bids. Put them all in jail and send out a message that that's unacceptable behavior. Because in the end, the people today are ungrounded. They don't trust their government. The government is corrupt. The government doesn't do their work. The government gives them the worst possible lives in the world. There's nothing on the horizon except it getting worse. Obamacare is going to lay 1,500,000 new people onto the taxpayers of the state of New York. My opponent won't speak to the issue. That's what he's afraid of. But the people, they want a government that is going to cut back on its size, that's going to streamline itself, that's going to provide them with the ability to feel in their own hearts and for them to provide their children and their grandchildren with the encouragement that if they work hard in school, they're going to have a fulfilling job opportunity in the state of New York, and they're going to be able to live the American dream right here. They're going to be able to stay in New York and take care of their parents when they get old, and take care of their grandparents, and have their grandparents counsel their children, the grandchildren. Because there's no greater counsel. I was so fortunate having my dad there to counsel my kids. That's as simple as it is. That's all they want. They're just everyday New Yorkers, just like me, a builder from Western New York. I'm not polished. I'm not politically correct. I carry some abilities with me to honestly say I'm not intimidatable. I'm very determined. I'm determined to do the people's work. I'm determined to go out there and fight the necessary fight to bring a change in this culture of corruption in Albany that has so wronged the people of New York State. I'm not driven by money, nor am I driven by power, nor am I driven by a need to satisfy an ego or for praise or a pat on the back. That's not me. I'm looking to serve the people for 4 years, just 4 years. And in that 4 years, I will bring about the necessary change. And I'll hand off the government to somebody very competent to carry on that good work and have a government and continue a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That's what I'm about. When I look at my grandchildren, I couldn't imagine having them not to having the opportunity to have that fulfilling life right here in New York. That's what I want for everyone. I want to really thank you for giving me this opportunity to tell you who I am. I want to ask you to please forward this message on to all those that you think might be encouraged by it. And also, on November 2nd, to go out and vote. And if you feel it in your heart, to vote for me.